how to turn what's called an emerging bowl. This is basically starts out with a, I'll show you a square piece of wood, and when you make these, you make two of them at the same time. And this is what it is. This, right, by the way, is going to be the Turner of the Month prize tonight. Whoever wins Turner of the Month gets this one. When you start out making one of these, this is actually two pieces of wood glued together, and there's a piece of paper that's glued between them. So you're going to have two pieces, and they're put into a chuck, just like so. What I did was I took these to the bandsaw because this is going to be rounded. There was no point rounding all this off in here, make more dust. So I just took a bandsaw and cut these corners off so it would turn, make less mess. So let's get this on the lathe. When you calculate these, this is basically the template I'm going to use. This will be right here. And this here is the template for the inside of the bowl. This you won't use this at this stage of the game. We'll use that later. For now, I want to take this and make this like that. Turn that round, make a half moon out of it. You leave a little on the extra on the edge, on the end here for your tailstock to support it. Then you cut that off at the end. So let's go ahead and round this guy out. Now I do have a pencil mark right here. And you can see it when it's spinning. That's going to be this line right here. So I don't want to cut any lower than that. I want to go ahead and cut use a parting tool and cut straight in. And then from there, I'll start my round.
Joe Bob is asking what type of wood. Gary said he got it from John Walsh. It's box elder.
Take it in just a little bit more. My lathe, I've got a bar in the front. That's how I stop it. And I'm keeping, every time I want to stop my lathe, I'm reaching down here and it won't stop. So, okay, I need to cut down just a little bit more. You want to be very careful not to overcut this. If you do, you're going to wind up with a much smaller. The only thing I didn't bring with me tonight, and I knew I was going to forget something, is a caliper to use on this, and I did not bring one. So we'll have to work around it. We're not going to finish this all out. I want to show you how to form this. Then we're going to switch over to another one that's actually mounted, how we finish the top and all. So we couldn't possibly do the whole thing tonight. It would take forever. Actually, right now I'm using a spindle gouge, a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. This is actually doing spindle work. The grain is running longitudinal with the lathe, so it is spindle work. So. And I should be using a much smaller tool rest for this. This is a very big tool rest for this project. Okay, it's looking good right up in here. We need to take some of this out. For that, I'm going to go ahead and use a skew. We're getting very close. Okay, we have our diameter. It's perfect all the way around here. Now we just got to go ahead and transfer that to here, which we're pretty close. What you just got to do is take a little bit more off right in here. And then we'll go ahead and finish this and split it, and then we'll move on to the next step. When you do this, just kind of watch your shadow up at the top end here, and that'll. Okay, for all practical purposes, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And then we'll leave. We're not going to get it perfect. I'm not going to sand it. I don't want to create any dust in here. Okay, thanks, sir. Okay, at this point, you should be perfect all the way around. We're not exactly 100% perfect, but we're not going to go any further with this. You just keep working with it until you get it all. You want this to be identical to that. Once you have that, then the rest of it will turn out pretty good. So now I'll take this off the lathe and I'll show you what we'll do with it. I'm not going to go ahead and finish this part up. Okay, what you do is you take a piece of wood with a hole in it that's deeper than this, and you set this into it. I don't have one, so we're going to go ahead and just try to crack it this way here, because you don't want to damage this. So we'll try without it. You take your tool, put it right on the, yeah, if you can hold it, great. Hold it right on the center, and it should split relatively easily. Normally, you always leave enough extra wood on the end of this thing, so if you get a tear out, you have plenty of wood to work with. But basically, you have two pieces now, and if you do them right, you won't damage this part at all. You wind up with two separate pieces to do with as you see fit. What we're going to do now is take that piece of wood. At this point, you know you're going to have a lot of wasted wood over here. So what I do is I basically take and draw the circle right here. Then I cut down. Okay, what I try to do at this point, I know about where that circle is going to go. And so I know I'm going to be cutting the wood right across here. I want this to shallow. So I'm going to cut wood out of here. I'll take it to the bandsaw at this time and cut here and then here and get rid of that. Otherwise, you're going to just be turning that off. And it just takes a lot of time on a lathe. So I just get rid of it that way. I also cut it to the length that I want it to be. Cut it on the bandsaw. Then you wind up with this piece of wood right here. And you can also, if it happens to be a log, if you want to do this with a log, you can certainly do that. You can chamfer these two sides and glue it on. You find the center of your bowl. This would be, if you did it right, if you draw a straight line across here and split it in half, that should be perfect center. So if you have a line right across here, take a center punch and punch it right there. That's your center mark. That's going to be the center of your bowl. So your bowl is going to be hollowed out to where it'll fit right inside it. That right there. You can also use this as your guide. And if you did this properly on the outside, these should be the same equidistant all the way around. I didn't totally do a complete job on turning this, but if you did, that's the way it would look. And this here would then be turned down a little bit further. But anyway, once you have that, you take, I have just a scrap block that I cut a recess in that fits the jaws of my chuck in the expansion mode. So I find that little dot right there, and I bring my tailstock up and engage that little dot. Now this is not glued in place yet. It's there. I'm holding it in place, and I'll put a clamp right here to hold that in place. Then I put a little bit of pressure on it. Lock everything down with this clamp here, and I start put hot glue all the way around. I hot glue everything, and I give it at least an hour to cure. I also have to make this little wedge, this little block of wood that I stick in here, hot glue it in place. That supports the cup. Once you have that done, you're ready to start turning. So what we're going to do is, I'm not even going to use the tailstock. It's on there pretty tight. I'm going to turn the outside on this line right here, and I'll show you. John, I like this handle. We need to switch that handle to the front. I don't like it in the back. It's just, yeah, you can. Okay, so you're going to have a shadow to go by. This line right here is going to be your shadow, and this should be perfect. This should be perfect at this point. Okay, we'll turn the speed down a bit. Yeah, it's off center, so you got to find a point where she just stops vibrating. It's close enough right there. Right now, I'm running about 730. And I can see the outline, the shadow of the cup right there. It's quite visible, as a matter of fact. So pretty close, just have a little bit more to go. Hey, if you all want to come up here and we got time, you want to come up and take a look at this. I'm trying to catch the edge of this bowl right here. Okay, I'm close enough for now. What I want to do is I want to take some more wood off of here. So I'm going to go ahead and now bring my tool rest out and bring my live center up and get the speed up a little bit higher. I am using it for forgetting this, but I'm going to switch. I'm going to get away from that now, but I wanted to cut real close. And a parting tool to me is the best tool to get in there with. Whatever tool works for you. I'm not a believer that there's only certain tools for certain jobs. You can use whatever tool you're comfortable with in wood turning. Okay. just a little at a time, trial and error. So I got a little bit overhang here and here, which is good. I've got the same amount, so I want to take that down just a little bit more. Well, I guess it'll be about ready to sand at this point. But what I'm going to do now is go ahead and then I'll hollow out the inside. We're going to start hollowing this baby out. If you do a big one of these bowls, you want to really do a big one, take a bigger diameter scrap block and add a piece of wood to it just to weight it, counterbalance it, and you can then get your speed up. For these little ones, this works fine. This is where a small tool rest is good to get up inside there. I'm going to try to turn this. Thing about turning on the end of a long tool rest is you get more vibration out at the end. It's really not a good practice to do that, but I don't have any choice, so I'm going to get up in there with this. Yeah, I'm pretty uniform. I just got to go a little bit deeper. The object is to take it almost down to those pins right there, and that should bring it where you have a pretty shallow bowl all the way around. I've never made an emerging donut before, so let's hope we don't make one today. Lost the burr on my scraper already. We're getting there. I'm not a scraper person, but this is one time where the scraper is really a good tool. Okay, I'm going to clean the bottom up a bit. Okay. Remember, your scraper should always be above your cut, angle down. Oh, come on. You always want to cut on the downward stroke with your scraper, but you should also have a burr on it, which I've already lost. I think we're going to leave it at that and clean it up a little bit, and we'll just let it go with that. Okay, at this point, you would normally take you could do a little hand sanding on this, or use a pad sander and sand all these surfaces down. Pretty hard to get these turf totally smooth, but you can with an orbital sander or something. But basically, that's the unit right there. So let's go ahead and get it off the lathe. It comes off quite easily, actually. Let's see if we just put this in here now and just give it a split. But it cleans up quite well. You can make that a bowl. You can make it a goblet. You can make a bowl coming out of the corner of the bowl. You just have to do it in an additional mount in your lathe. You have to rotate it and then do it again. But you can actually make a block with a bowl coming out the edge of it, the corner, rather than on the end. There's 1,000 things you can do with that technique once you practice it a little bit. Any questions?